Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about the Sub Carnival, which is a massive trap. So not only have my Photoshop skills ultimately evolved, but if you don't even intend to watch the video or read the article, do not roll in this Sub Carnival. And this is because the featured top 15 cards are quite lackluster. Now, this video slash article will attempt to explain why these cards are lackluster and why it's not a really good indication of what a top 15 sub roster would actually look like. Furthermore, I will also be trying to predict what could be some potential future events that are very likely to come to North America in the near future, which are just some examples of why you should be saving your magic stones. So first off, the Sub Carnival is a carnival. It is not a Godfest, and because of that, no Godfest exclusives will be featured. So those 6 and 7-star cards that we really need, you cannot actually roll them. So that alone should be a big enough red flag to prevent you from actually rolling in this event, because at this point in time, those cards tend to comprise some of the strongest monsters available in pad, but the 6-star cards themselves are able to be traded in via the monster exchange system to actually acquire a rare collab card of your choice. So right now, you can trade in 4 6-star Godfest exclusives and acquire a collab card of your choice. This has been the case for every 5-stone event in the past. So people were able to actually acquire Yusuke without actually having to roll in the YYH collab, which is quite a sad event overall, outside the fact that Yusuke is amazing. So with that in mind, we don't actually want to roll in the Sub Carnival because no Godfest exclusives can actually pop out. Now, in terms of what are the top 15 subs, there are some major restrictions. The featured list does not feature any collab monsters, any Godfest exclusives, Monster Point Shop exclusive monsters, monsters that only appear in special rare machines, and dungeon monsters. So that means we're left with a very watered down list that simply consists of Pantheon cards. Now, at this point in time, Pantheon cards are quite lackluster for the most part. The only truly strong Pantheon cards overall tend to be the newer ones. But because of the fact that Puzzle & Dragons is a long-standing game and many players have been playing for a prolonged period of time, many of the featured subs here are simply older monsters that people have acquired over the years, and they just simply have never rolled anything better. So that is the reason why you see so many of all the Chinese Celestials, because all of the Chinese Celestials were actually one of the first Pantheons ever released. So if you started playing Pad a long time ago, there's a strong likelihood that you have most of those cards. And because you have most of those cards and they may already be developed and you're a more casual player, you may be wanting to use them as a sub. They may not necessarily have perfect synergy or be the optimal choice in any situation, but because you own them, you're going to use them. And that is the reason why most of these cards are on this list. Now, from this above list, going from 1st to 15th, we have Haku, Yomi, Tachibana, Karen, Ra, Leyland, Diao-chan, Kusanagi Hime, Indra, Meimei, Orochi, Isis, Nohime, Da Chiao's DQXQ, and Sakuya. So, of that list, I only can really foresee people truly utilizing Tachibana, Nohime as very dedicated subs. Indra, Orochi definitely can be a sub overall. This actually wasn't refreshed, so Haku is not on the list there, but Indra Orochi definitely can be subs because they're super awakenings and limit breaking potential and huge health stats, but they're also great assists or inherits. Haku is still a reasonably viable sub, mostly because people have Dark Athena. And then finally, Diao-chan can be used a reasonable amount of time because it has nice orb unlocking or Awoken Bind clearing, the movement time buff, and assuming you don't have TARDIS, which is a rare collab card, Diao-chan is your next best option. So, aside from those cards, this roster is not that great, and even so, these cards are good. They're not amazing for the most part, and you do have a 1.5% chance to roll these, but I would steer very clear of these cards overall. So these are what I can potentially foresee as being events that we may have in North America. So due to the fact that we are 2 to 3 months behind Japan, we can kind of see into the future and kind of help predict and build our pad planning, so to speak, around what is going to come. Now, there is, of course, no official guarantee that any of these events will actually come to North America, but there is a decent likelihood, and especially for non-collab events, I'm not talking about seasonals, I'm talking about collabs. Collabs tend to be something that we may not necessarily get, but most seasons we do get because they are owned by Gung Ho, so there's no licensing issues. And if they're just regular events, again, we should usually have them. So there is right now in Japan going to be a Sevens Super Godfest, probably has a better name, but basically the idea is that Yamapi achieved rank 777, so they're having a Sevens themed event, and that means there is a Super Godfest that will cost 7 magic stones, but you will also be able to acquire 7-star cards all the time. Now, this is going to obviously include regular Pantheon cards. They will come out in 7-star form, so if they have an Awoken form, they'll be you'll acquire them already pre-awoken. So if you're a newer player, that's actually quite fantastic because you may have not been able to actually evolve them on your own. And the fact that they come evolved is quite a nice collateral benefit. Of course, for more developed players, we don't really care about that. The 1 extra magic stone tax, so to speak, maybe a little bit of a hurdle. But generally speaking, Super Godfests are by far the best event to roll in for a regular rare machine, like non-seasonal, non-collab. So the fact that Japan has it going on now basically means that we will get it hopefully in the next 2 to 3 months. And because there shouldn't be any licensing issues with this, and it's not a time-specific anniversary, I do foresee that we have this event in the near future. And even if we get this further down the road, you still want to save stones for that. Next is Monster Hunter. So this may be a little bit more of a long stretch because Monster Hunter did release on PC just recently, so there's obviously a lot of hype around it. And previously when Monster Hunter was released, we had a special event that was synchronized with Japan, so that was amazing. We may or may not have this. Maybe we can pray, we don't know. But again, Monster Hunter is one of the most desirable collabs in Puzzle & Dragons because they feature, it's a 10-stone event, but they feature amazing assist evolutions for all the cards. So even something that is considered like the lowest tier, like Raytheon, is incredible. I don't own Raytheon, and I would be rolling Monster Hunter just to get Raytheon. That's how amazing they are. And because of the fact that they're the lower rarity, there should be a higher chance of actually acquiring things like Raytheon for the triple poison resist or 60% immunity to poison orbs being spawned. And then lastly, the last potential event that I can truly foresee happening is Beach or Summer Rare Machine. So we've had the Beach and Summer Rare Machine around Halloween time in the past. Probably will have something along the similar lines again because we're about 2 to 3 months behind. Japan's enjoying it right now. So we won't be going to the beach during the summer. We'll go during the fall because we're kind of strange like that. But the event has been heavily revamped because most of the cards now have Super Awakenings, which means they have limit breaking potential, which means they have higher weighted stats, much more value used, especially in solo mode. Furthermore, with the Monster Exchange now available, we can actually trade in for those rare and valuable cards. So Beach Fujin, which received a new evolution, is incredibly powerful. It's something we can actually trade in for. So it is something that people may be interested in, but again, if only, say, one of these events were to come to North America, they are infinitely better than this terrible sub-carnival. So, in conclusion, this sub-carnival is a huge trap. You should not be spending your magic stones here because you'll be gambling away for a very little reward. Even if you get what is arguably like the featured cards, there's a good chance you may already have them because they are older monsters, generally speaking. So, hopefully all a Mantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pet adventures, and happy puzzling.